Another stressful day at work. Customers yelling at me, managers yelling at me because customers were yelling at me, all leading me to nearly to the point of tears. I've had enough for today. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm home now, under no one's authority but my own. No customers to lie about me, mistreating them for free coupons. No supervisor to dock my pay, compensate for said coupons. But I simply just can't help but play the day's events over and over again in my head. Turning up the volume up on the TV only intensifies the screaming matches accompanying in my mind. I've had days like this before, and this is one of the worst. Fortunately, I have stress relief tactic. That is yet to fail me a quiet walk around the block. I turn off the television, I throw on a light coat, and check the time. It's already past 11 at night. I don't want to be out too late, but I know I wouldn't be able to sleep until I could put this behind me. At least I don't have to work tomorrow. I lock the door behind me as I leave. The golden flow of the sidewalk, extended seemingly endless among the brick and mortar houses, never fails to inspire awe in me. And what had me worrying about it so much longer, I'll be able to live here without a lighter paying job, or higher paying one for that matter. Not surprisingly, I see a few people sharing the sidewalk and the street with me at this hour. I'm indifferent to them, and it's quite a safe neighborhood. The walk hardly helps as I finish my lap around the block. I'm still plagued by today's frustrations, and I decide to continue my walk, only extended to 3 blocks. As I step past the first block, I finally begin to quiet down the looping arguments and notice the sound around me, or more accurately, the lack of sound. The only 2 noises that seem to exist is in this bubble of universe is subdued hum of the streetlights and the harsh slap of the rubber on my shoes meeting the pavement. In their silence, the dull thud echoes forever. Everything seems to be much louder at night. I look behind me for my home to see how far I've gone. I can't see it. I must have gotten lost, I thought, so I walked away, past my mark unconsciously. The walk was already helped, so I figured that I might as well head straight home from here. 6 blocks into my return trip, I began to worry on how I've come this far without noticing. I still can't see my place. I did an absent-minded turn. Did I take it at some point? I pick up speed, unsure of anything else to do. Suddenly I notice something odd and possibly impossible. The echo of my footsteps has no rhythm. I immediately stop and then listen intently. The last stomp of my shoe sounds off and loud as usual, but the echoes are abnormal. Some of them soon after the others, nerve-wracking, louder than the one before it. I took around hoping to find the source of the mimicking echoes, and I'm suddenly aware of the fact that I can't see as far as I could earlier. The bulbs of the streetlights have dimmed to a glow golden brilliance to a dull yellow. I started walking to a slower pace, hoping that the noisemaker would broadcast his or her location to me throughout these echoes, but continued to arrive in all directions. "Is somebody there?" I called out in fear and desperation, but only to my own words returned to me the same ever-changing reputation as my steps have. I must have walked beneath at least a few hundred lamps at this point, but as I stepped into the next dying ring of light, I am plunged into the darkness. I looked up to see a dark bulb staring back at me, a void of light, but enough to make it its shape. I hear a voice again, impossible to be an echo, yet unmistakably my own. Not demanding it from my lips, a mocking whisper just from behind my ear. "Is somebody there?" I twisted my neck around with such a speed that I worried it might snap, and I see nothing. Nothing but an inky darkness, untouched by even the brightest star. Unbeknownst to me, A trail of dying lights as followed me and finally caught up. My fears reaches my boiling point, and I turn to take off. Full sprint to end of the mad in the sight. As each light goes in the darkness, I pass under. The echoes of my footfalls intensify with each block, to the point where the echoes are louder than the source. The buildings on both sides no longer have doors or windows. They have become a solitary brick wall, trapping me into an echo chamber. I began to see the lights in front of him pitifully going dark, and I fall to my knees from exhaustion and hopelessness. The void of engulfs me as I watch my every visible light fade from my existence. Why? I screamed into the abyss, expecting this to be my last word. But there was no echo, not even a normal echo. The sound of my scream dies in the air and it disappears. Absolute silence. Until several seconds later, a single street lamp ignites, and about half a block away, a small circle light illuminates from the ground, revealing a solitary figure. It has the appearance of a person. No, the appearance of me. My height, my shape, and it is me, but made of pure darkness. And I thought it has no visible eyes. I know it is watching me as my voice from its non-existent mouth repeating back to me, why? Then another light activates closer to me this time, showing me myself once again and asking me my own question. A third light, a fourth, 5, 6, 7. I lose count as some lights reveal more as the incarnation of my living shadow, all asking me to do the same question that I have no answer for. The seemingly infinite sound and road was flooded with these dark impostures, no longer echoing at the random, but chanting with the increase in volume. Why? 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 I cover my ears and close my eyes too tight, but it does nothing to quiet the noises or get the images out of my shadow, but people out of my head. A minute later, the chanting began, just when the volume was reaching deafening. It ceases completely. I opened my eyes more to see the pitch-black vacuum of the sound. I began to wonder if this is the afterlife before I am suddenly blinded, not by darkness, but by light. I could see as white, and I know that it's luminous, and it has returned to my life. But as my vision adjusts, my blood runs cold. Only the light is on, and one directly above me. I am exposed and surrounded by the unknown with no escape. So I cry and I weep for myself, not knowing either one of them would ever find me. Alive or dead, I fall to the ground and cry. My last light gradually becomes dimmer, listening to my one and only sobs echoing back at me, slowly getting closer and closer. And that, my little pretties, was An Evening Walk, a creepypasta written by Provider92. My final thoughts on this story? I gotta say, this is actually a really well-made creepypasta that Provider actually did. I remember I narrated one of this person's story, this individual story, which was Darkest Nightmares, and I mean, that one was pretty good too. I'm not denying that. That one was good. I did hear of this story from Silver Stories along with Creeparoni, Support Marker, Shady Creeps, and a few other people have actually narrated this story, and they said it was pretty good, so, well, and I really thought that this is a good story, and it is, actually. I really do like this story a lot. It's well made, it's definitely worth to check it out, it's amazing. I mean, I honestly just fell in love with this story. This story was definitely a good one to check out. It's beautiful, well made. I really do like the good grammar, the sentence structuring, the storyline. I mean, one thing I really would have to say was that this person, it's most likely the protagonist in this story is mostly seeing paranormal stuff. Maybe he's or she's hallucinating, these black figures of, him or herself. And yeah, I mean, I can honestly see that happening because we all hallucinate on certain things before. So there's definitely that. So I definitely will have to say and yeah, I'm definitely going to say that. Um yeah, I mean, the story was pretty good. I mean, I personally have enjoyed it myself. So, yeah. Um One thing I do like about this story was that of how believable it actually is, and I will have to agree that it is believable in a sense. Now, I mean, this story definitely was one of the good regular creepypastas I've personally read, and it's pretty good actually. I mean, I personally thought that this one was enjoyable, and it's a very enjoyable story. It's definitely one to check out if you haven't checked out yet, and I recommend you do because it's a good story. I mean, I've seen a few people actually took a look at this story, and it's a pretty good one in the matter of sense. So, anyways, with that being said, I can't really see anything that I personally don't like or anything like that. But, I mean, the story of its own self seemed to be, you know, pretty good. Pretty good for what it is. I mean, it has a really good concept of this story, and I actually, thought of this to be, of its own self, a classic good creepypasta in a sense. Now, if you guys, yeah, like I said, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be what should I give this one? I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. It's really good, it's well made, it's scary, yes, beautiful, well made in detail. I definitely like how the concept of its own self. I like how scary it is. It has a really good fear factor thrown into it, and I personally found this story to be, well, pretty good and amazing in a sense. I mean, yeah, I've seen a few other stories too. This one is actually pretty good. Now, anyways, with that being said, to Provider92, great job with this story. Excellent job. Very well made. This was definitely worth a read. And if you guys wonder where you could find this, go look on the regular Creepypasta Wiki. And I recommend you check this story out. You will not be disappointed. This story is actually really good. It's beautiful, well made, and I recommend you give it a shot at this story. So, anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this, creepypasta? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.